Over the years I have photographed many churches and cathedrals, so I can offer a lot of experience. But their amazing interiors offer the photographer many challenges. Chief amongst them is contrast, today known as HDR or High Dynamic Range. Camera technology is astonishing, but there are several areas of photography that require a bit of help. In the days of film, Kodachrome, 64 and all that, but there was a greater requirement to get it right when taking a photograph, particularly transparencies intended for projection. Now we have software to sort out our problems, including those that neither a film or digital camera can resolve. Much can be achieved with a single image in post-production with products like Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop. I prefer this method as I have more control which can be changed later provided the original shot is saved in the raw file format. This I will now demonstrate featuring Southall Minster as my model. The problem becomes critical when a stained glass window is part of the overall composition and not the main feature. This can easily result in an overexposed window or an underexposed interior, and sometimes both in one shot. Small windows are the most problematic, whereas larger windows spread more light inside the church. Taking shots on a dull day is easier to manage than a sunny day, as the contrast ratio is reduced, making it easier to blend the two exposure extremes. Still faced with overexposed highlights or deep shadows, I tend to spot meter near the brightest highlight, but not on it, aided by the electronic finder. This is more difficult with an optical finder, as you cannot preview changes, but you may be able to use the screen on the back of the camera if it has live view. I handhold with the OM5 as it has excellent image stabilization and can keep the ISO at 200. I leave white balance on auto as it can be changed later provided I save to RAW. For many years I have always exposed to the left to stop highlights from accidentally overexposing, even for landscapes. I kept the camera level to avoid converging or diverging verticals, but they can be corrected in post-production. I now have an image with highlights slightly overexposed and shadows underexposed, as overexposed highlights are difficult to correct. Shadows are easier, but with one important caveat: noise. But modern cameras and software are much better now in taming that problem. I prefer to make corrections in Lightroom, using the sliders in a way that will send shivers down spines. It may be considered wrong, but it works. I increase vibrance but not saturation, as it is more subtle. I don't touch contrast with this type of shot, there is enough already. But I change the profile to Adobe Landscape, as it beefs up the colours just a touch. Whilst I am not creating a masterpiece, other examples in the world of art, particularly my forte music, are achieved by doing everything perceived as wrong, so I follow their example. The major plus for making changes in post-production is that I can start again from the picture taken in camera, or change my mind 6 months later, provided I save the raw file, which I always archive, with or without corrections, which are kept separately, permitting further changes. I do not overwrite the original file. I save final changes to a JPEG. It took me some time to master this technique, but I find it very creative as you are crafting every image individually. I conclude with a selection taken on a recent visit to this remarkable cathedral that is little known but architecturally important and, above all, a church of great beauty.